Hey there. Today we're diving into the psychology behind those of us who don't just, enjoy a bit of quiet, but deeply, truly crave it. If you've ever felt that urgent need to just escape all the noise so you can finally think, well, this is for you. We're going to shed some light on why that happens.
So let me ask you this right off the bat. Do you ever get that feeling, after a day that's just packed with notifications, conversations, and just noise? The only thing you want is absolute total silence. It's a feeling a lot of us have, but it's one that's not always understood.
And when you finally get that quiet, wow, the feeling is just so profound. It's not about being lonely, right? It's pure relief. It really is like a heavy weight you didn't even realize you were carrying has just been lifted off. So let's decode why that feeling is so incredibly powerful.
And here is the single most important point we're going to make. Needing to be alone with your thoughts is not a social flaw. In fact, psychology suggests it's the exact opposite. It's a sign of a high-functioning mind that's processing the world in a uniquely powerful way.
Okay, so first things first, let's just debunk the biggest myth right away. If you're someone who seeks out silence, you might have been labeled antisocial. But the reality is so much simpler than that. You're not antisocial, you're overloaded.
You can really see the contrast here. The common myth is that you're just shy or you don't like being around people. But the psychological reality? It's that your brain has simply hit its processing limit and it needs to recharge. It's all about capacity, not personality.
Think of it this way. Your brain can only handle so much emotional pressure, so much criticism, so much constant noise, before it naturally just shifts into protection mode. It's a totally normal biological and psychological defense mechanism to prevent a total burnout.
And these are some of the most common triggers. It could be constant emotional demands from others, it might be frequent criticism, or sometimes it's just being in a noisy environment. And this last one's a big one. If you're someone who notices every little detail, your mind is always working overtime. And that's just plain exhausting.
And that's why, for you, silence is never empty. To people on the outside, it might look like you're disappearing or disengaging, but on the inside, that quiet feels like a necessary restorative relief. It's where you recharge.
This leads us right into our next section, which really gets to the core of this whole experience, the deep thinker's brain.
For a lot of deep thinkers, small talk can feel like actual mental noise. It's like static. It doesn't really lead anywhere meaningful, and it just distracts from all the complex, layered thoughts your brain would much rather be exploring.
Instead of that kind of filler conversation, what your brain really craves is substance. It wants meaningful moments, authentic experiences, not just performing for a crowd. And crucially, this means you probably don't rely on a lot of external validation. Your sense of self-worth, it comes from within.
This brings us to a really fascinating idea. Seeking silence isn't just some passive reaction to the world. No, it's an active, deliberate strategy for protecting your inner peace.
And a key reason for this is a powerful psychological habit called metacognition. It sounds complicated, but all it means is the ability to think about your own thoughts. It lets you step back, observe your own mind, question your biases, and really reflect on your decisions. And this is what you're actually doing in those quiet moments. You're not just zoning out, you are using that silence to process life intentionally. You're checking in with yourself, you're analyzing your journey, you're understanding your own growth. It is deep, essential work.
And here's basically how you do it. First, you recognize that your energy is finite. It's not an endless resource. Second, you are very intentional about where you put your attention. And third, you consciously choose calm over chaos. That's not just a preference. In today's world, that's a rare and powerful form of freedom.
So, after all this, what does it all mean? Well, it means that if you find power in the quiet, it's not some strange quirk. It's your greatest strength.
So please, remember this. If any of this has resonated with you, you aren't difficult. You are not weird. And you are definitely not antisocial. Those are just labels that completely miss the point.
The reality is so much simpler and, frankly, so much more validating. You're just wired differently. That's it.
You have a mind that is built to value depth over noise. It values internal growth over external approval. And in a world that is getting louder and louder every single day, that is not a weakness. That's a superpower.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In a world that never ever stops talking, what great ideas, what moments of clarity,
are just sitting there, waiting for you in the quiet.